Alrighty. One final series. Main event of the evening. Fjant and HiGhDrA battling it out for 150 buckies. Joined by Bully, who seems to bring a lot more luck than Gemini did. I'm gonna kick things off on ley lines. I'm ready. I think the game is already. And now we just need to know if Bully is ready.
I am always ready. Let's get started.
Let's do it. Nope. Fjant's asking for waiting for Roddy. Roddy always ready, mate. Always ready. So Fjant and HiGhDrA both have a Team Roddy pass. Fjant, of course, is still currently on Team Roddy. HiGhDrA was with us for a while. He's now with Alien Esports. Why did you go for this main event, Bully?
Well, a few reasons. One, obviously they're Team Roddy boys, so we do like that about them. Also, they're just a couple of guys who are very high-level players that have been playing in the ATL for multiple seasons at this point. And, you know, to their credit, really embrace kind of the spirit of the league. Fjant in particular is always very happy to coach the players on his team and help them out. And I think the league and the server as a whole have a real soft spot for him since his Season 3 team, the Goobers, touched the hearts of everyone who ever watched an ATL cast. And you can see already he's mentioning that he is a goofy goober.
What's the lore behind that? Because I am unaware.
So, it's a reference to, I think, the SpongeBob movie, but they were named the Goobers, and they kind of struggled through the regular season, and at the very last minute when they were going up against the Frogify Ribbitellion, they needed to clutch out their series and have my team, the Itty Bitty Banana Committee, win their match as well to make it to the playoffs, and they just barely did on a tiebreaker, I believe. Wait, actually, no, I've got that backwards. The Goobers lost. The Goobers died, and the Frogs survived. I take that back. So that's sort of where it came from. The Goobers are just a fan favorite that have never really had the luck they needed to be successful and get into the playoffs. And so I think Fjant puts in a lot of work for his team, and a lot of his teammates are you know, well-liked community members. So he's really leaned into the Goober identity.
I love it. He's been with us for a while right now at Team Roddy, and I know that in particular Jacob is a very big fan of Fjant. Like, we all love Fjant. He's just a very good kid. He works hard, and he's just one of these gamers where, like, we all hope that Starcraft continues on a big scale with a lot of international events, but you particularly hope it for these guys that have been working so hard for so long, have been getting better, have been rising through the ranks of the European elite. And yeah, you want to see where they can take their game, and hopefully we have a few more good years inside of us. We can see potentially the peak of these guys, because I don't think this guy has peaked yet. In the top right side, representing Team Roddy, it is Fjant, our Swedish Zergy.
The Goober leader himself, and in the bottom left, the Dutch Protoss. I don't think his team has a name yet, but if I know the creative minds of ATP, they'll come up with something great. It is Alien Esports' HiGhDrA.
So HiGhDrA played in the Big Brain Bouts a couple of weeks ago. For a split second there, by the way, it looked like he was going to warp in a Robo, but he changed his mind, or that was just a misclick. Because Robo first is definitely a bit uncommon in this matchup. But he goes for the Stargate, that is a whole lot more common. A couple of weeks ago, HiGhDrA had to go up against Juanito Special, and it's obviously always difficult to do matchmaking for these guys that were once upon a time very good, then they haven't played in forever. Like Special throughout his entire life, I think beat Cham like 40 times, lost one time. Recently they played in the Big Brain Bouts. Cham gets a pretty easy 3-1 victory. Like, oh, okay, Special really is not the Special of old yet. But yeah, then he plays for a couple of weeks, then he plays against HiGhDrA, and he suddenly looks like there are levels to this game, and he gets an easy 3-0. He plays again, he gets another 3-0 over Nikic. So I hope for HiGhDrA that this series goes better. I still believe that he could do better against Special, but yeah, Special historically, I guess, it's just always been so deadly. He hits you with timings that you don't expect, and by the time you realize what's happening, it's already a little bit too late. So maybe that was just like a stylistic problem, but it did scare me a little bit for HiGhDrA, because I kind of thought he was a little bit further along in his progress. That sure, losing against Special, even if Special is not 100% yet, there's no shame in that, but it should have just been closer than what it was.
Yeah, I think that's fair, and I think PvT sometimes is tough just because you know, even in games where, you know, it looks kind of close, you can just feel sort of helpless. There's a lot of Terran playstyles, I think specials in particular, that are just so aggressive that try to keep the Protoss kind of under your thumb for as long as possible. So it's hard to read too much into it, but I tend to agree, especially against special. I'm willing to think that's maybe a little bit of an anomaly outside the norm. I think HiGhDrA definitely has the potential to take this series.
We've got a Twilight Council and a Robo coming online. Fjant has obviously been struggling a little bit. That's a slow warp in. That pylon is not connected to anything. We got a little excited seeing that Overlord exposed. I think we still probably get it right in the end. We should be able to get enough hits on it off, but it needs to go to the high ground immediately. And I think we'll be fine. That should still be a dead Overlord. I think Fjant is the favorite. Even if a ZVP is a tough matchup right now for a lot of Zergs. And Fjant is definitely not exclusive in that regard. Even I think has a Discord title that says something like playing ZVP builds character, something along those lines. So,
yes.
Yeah, he's been struggling a little bit like many of the other Zergs, but I also think the more they play on this patch, the more they just get a good feel for what they like, and when Protoss is the scariest, I think it will be fine. Like, I'm not saying it's easy for Zerg, it's absolutely not, but it's also not as impossible as some people want you to believe.
Yeah, I think that's true, and you know, even though these guys are both very good, they're right at that 6K level, so you know, almost as high level as you could ever play at. I do think that you know, below the ultra top level, you know, most games are still not decided, you know, by the limits of balance, by the limits of the race, and that most of the time, if you win or lose a game, you can kind of identify a few things you could have done differently to change that result.
Feels risky, but we get away with it.
High Templar warp in. Yeah, this is a little bit crazy, to be honest with you, that he's warping these in here.
Warp, that Oracle, by the way, has so much energy that it's actually going to be able to do some serious damage to these roaches. Fjant, inspired perhaps by that other Scandinavian Zerg, and this is where somebody's like, Denmark is not Scandinavia already. Come on. We all agree that Denmark, Sweden, Finland, and Norway, they go hand in hand. And if Iceland wants to join the party, that's fine too. But all Scandinavia to me. Perhaps inspired by Space Marines, he also drops a relatively early Spire. I don't hate it against HiGhDrA, but HiGhDrA can obviously potentially hit you with a devastating timing before you get any true value out of these Mutas. And Mutas are never meant to really take a fight straight up. They want to have the longer games, they want to bounce between these three bases. HiGhDrA, I think, is an expert in when it comes to tree-based attacks. That's something that he loves to do in different matchups as well. It's risky here by Fjant. Legitimately kind of risky in game one, if you ask me.
I agree. I do think one thing I'm surprised though by HiGhDrA is that we don't see any Twilight upgrades here. He doesn't have Charge, he does not have Blink, neither on the way either. He does scout the Spire, so we're starting Phoenix production. Fjant obviously knows that was scouted, so he's not going to cancel the Spire, but may just choose to defer something like Mutas and instead just keep that around in case Corruptors are eventually needed.
Drops an Infestation Pit and a HiGhDrA then in the back of the main base. Instead, Fjant immediately fires up 10 more drones as well. Good call out on the lack of a Twilight Council upgrade. That just seems a little bit bizarre to me. Like that you don't have 2 or 3 of them is fine, but you should pretty much always have 1. Unless we're playing some sort of a Protoss mech here, you know, it's like Archon, Phoenix, Immortal, but he's warping in Zealous like he's got charge. He's gonna realize now that he doesn't have charge. Good news is charge doesn't take very long, Bully. Like, you know, we all find ourselves in situations where we don't have charge. It won't take forever. We can Chrono Boost the hell out of this Twilight Council the way that HiGhDrA is doing. I still believe that he can hit a pretty gnarly tree-based timing. The problem is, I feel like it's an all-in immediately because he's not really going up to 4 bases. He's not firing up Storm. I don't see a second Robo Bay, Fleet Beacon. Like, I think this is kind of it, right? It's a 3-base all-in, and with this attack, HiGhDrA needs to win game 1.
Yeah, I think the big problem is that you just can't. It's going to take so long to get charge that you can't really afford to go up to a 4th. A few roaches even denying the probes that are attempting to make that happen for him as well, whether that 4th is real or just a dummy. It's just going to be so hard. I don't know that these roaches are going to be able to get on top of this army. So many roaches and hydras are finished. The lurker den almost done as well, meaning it's going to be even more difficult to engage this Zerg army shortly because we do not have storm. Hydra's going in for it now, but I am scared for the result.
That is a lot of Archons, Immortals. It will all come down to what these Immortals are shooting at. Now the Lurkers are not quite done yet. And obviously, the Archons are just melting, man. The Hydra count's quite high. We're going for that Prism. We are going for the Prism, and we get it. The Zealot Warping does finish up, and that might honestly change the tide. The Observer is so important here. The Immortals are on top of the Lurkers. I think HiGhDrA can do it. I think this will all just be barely good enough for HiGhDrA. Fjant's got money in the bank, but there are Zealots on top of his drones. Roachborn, and that's the Immortal count still quite high. And don't forget, Phoenix is useful here too. They've got energy. They can lift HiGhDRAs one by one. Like, if Fjant can get all 15 HiGhDRAs that he's currently building at the same place and fight at once, sure, he might clean this up in a convincing manner, but I just don't know if that's going to happen. They're going to come from 3 different angles. 41 drones have already died. There is one brave Archon battling a HiGhDRA. That's now going to work on that final mineral line. HiGhDRA does not quite kill Fjant, but he did a silly amount of damage.
Yeah, I think the unfortunate thing is that the Prism was actually... It was better for it to be within snipe range because that meant that the Hydras wasted so much DPS trying to kill it, and they didn't even prevent the Zealot warp in. So that means that while the Hydras are shooting at that Prism, which they struggled to take down, the army was just absolutely shredding those units, and the Zealots may have been slow, but if they're allowed to just stand and fight, the DPS is still very high.
No Observer, by the way. We do need some detection.
Yes.
I know the Lurker count is not crazy high, but you still don't want to attack into 4 Lurkers without any form of detection. HiGhDrA does know that the doors are wide open in this natural, so he can maybe split up a couple Zealots. He's gonna get on top of Lurkers. I don't like it, bully. And now I'm also afraid that like one Observer does show up, that it dies immediately. HiGhDrA, you're so close to the finish line. He is going up to 4 bases, but yeah, it's obvious, right, that he's so eager to just end it. And it does make watching HiGhDrA games fun. Zealots will find even more drones. A single revelation, a single Observer. Like, HiGhDrA is in a rush, mate. He wants to close out game 1 right here, right now. Observer, Warp Prism. Spore Crawler does fall, and that means that the Observer should live for a little while longer, and that means it is good enough for HiGhDrA. The Lurkers fall. Fjant cannot crank out enough units, and the Dutchman takes the 1-0 lead.
Really well done by HiGhDrA. I was definitely a doubter, seeing that he forgot charge, seeing that he was launching the attack just a little bit later than he probably wanted to, but a really good engagement, and I think he recognized his win condition to just go for another follow-up attack once +2 was done. Once he had a little bit of detection to deal with those lurkers. Really solid game, good crisis management from a situation that looked on paper at least like it should not have been in his favor.
Yeah, I do think with how close this all went right now, Fjant maybe in a moment like this, he needs to realize that, okay, if I wanted to go for a Spire, and the Spire gets scouted, so that plan gets thrown out of the window, I'll make a tech switch, I go HiGhDRAs, then I feel like you need to make certain that you don't die to the thing that you initially feared you would die to. And now it's not just like I'm making HiGhDRAs and I'm gonna battle a 3-base Protoss all in. No, I also built a Spire, I invested in stuff, and I delayed the HiGhDRA production. Like, he just wasn't as ready as he otherwise would have been if this was his strategy from the very get-go. So with a couple of minor tweaks, and perhaps these are games that I think you really learn a lot from Fjant, because he made it close, and he indeed got unfortunate because he went for that Prism snipe. Sometimes that wins you the game, and sometimes you get it like 0.1 second too late. The extra Zealots show up, and now your units are right on top of Archons and Immortals and Zealots. Honestly, a lot of things went wrong there for Fjant, and he still made it somewhat close. So I wouldn't be panicking yet if I was in the shoes of Fjant there.
Yeah, I agree. I think if you ask a Zerg, hey, should I be able to easily hold this push with this drone count after going Spire, after spending all this money on tech that doesn't end up getting used, I think most of the time they would say that's a situation where you should die. And yeah, the fact that it was close, I think, speaks just to A, how good Fjant is, but also how close these guys are in skill.
Top left side of the Whispers of Gold, a Zerg player that has played a decent amount in the Big Brain Bouts, and that is mostly, guys, because I'm always looking for Zergs and Terrans. When it comes to Protoss players, yeah, there is an influx. There are so many infinite, high level, low level, medium level, it doesn't matter. I can give you guys 4 PvPs each and every single week, but I have the feeling that that's not exactly what people are looking for on a Friday night. So yeah, then I do kind of go back very often to a young Yakov, to Nikic, or to this man, that is a Fjant. Because I need to get some Zerg, bully. And you know, a lot of the Koreans not always available. American Zergs, there aren't too many of those out there. So yeah, you're gonna see Fjant a little more often than you're going to see a good European Protoss, for instance, because there is no shortage of that.
Yeah, that is true. Goblin shared a screenshot in our team Discord recently of his Terran beating a 6K barcode Protoss, and text asked, who is that? And I said, well, it's a 6K barcode Protoss on Europe, so there's about 40 people that could be.
And that sounds like an exaggeration, but it honestly probably
no,
isn't.
it is not.
If you take into consideration that we have a Boomer Bash event happening right now with some of the older guys getting in a couple games. Like a man like Drogo is incredibly good. And even if he doesn't play for a while, you make him play 30, 40 games, he's probably going to be around 6K, a bit below, a bit above. And if he plays another 40 games, he's going to be way above it, right? And for Drogo, there's like 5 other guys out there, so yeah. It's funny because that story does remind me of one of my favorite big Gabriel moments one time, where Gabe lost a ladder game. This is a long time ago, but Gabe lost a ladder game against a 6.8K Protoss. I was watching the stream with Rainer. Rainer was here as well. We were just chilling on the couch. We had food. We were watching some Gabe, and Gabe knew damn well who he lost to. And people are like, "Oh, who was this?" You know, because the Protoss marker was like 6.8, 6.9K, and Gabe's like, I mean, my Protoss barcode, like, this could literally be anybody. And I look at Rainer and we just both started laughing. We're like, oh, come on, Gabe. Like, sure. Yeah, there's a lot of Protosses out there, but when it comes to 6.8K, I don't think we can quite go as this could literally be anybody, you know? Like, it actually takes a little bit of skill to get there with Protoss.
I empathize with his plight, but sometimes, especially when you're looking at that defeat screen, it can be a little easy to just throw a little bit of spice in there to help ease the wounds. I can imagine the Rainer cackle that he mustered immediately after hearing that.
Yeah, those are some good days, mate. I feel like overall the Starcraft streams were very fun to watch back then. And of course there's still great streamers out there right now as well. But at this point it just kind of feels the entire scene is in a bit of this awkward spot, because almost in every stream there's similar conversations happening and nobody has the answers. And it's just a waiting room that goes on and on. It overall changes the vibe a little bit. And of course we try to do our best, right? Try to make it fun. Everybody does his best on stream, but it would help so much for every streamer, whether you're esports related or not, there's just a bit more clarity on what's happening with Starcraft. We had a great time, mate, just watching Gabe do his thing, whether it was ladder or tournament play that he was streaming. We had so much fun.
Yeah, I think that's definitely true. I think, you know, I've been saying on stream recently is that I think a lot of the sort of, you know, balance related frustrations that people have, even those would be alleviated by a little bit more clarity on the situation, because I think, you know, there's definitely some problems that I can see in balance right now. But I think what people are really scared of is just that we're going to be stuck with this if there's, you know, no scene to kind of spur on things like the Balance Council. So maybe if we got some good news on that front, we would see a little bit more positivity. What I'm just not going to be feeling positive about is losing this Oracle trying to plant down a stasis trap after getting only 2 drones.
Oh, well, I'll be honest, mate. I didn't even think that Oracle was close to dying. I had my camera a little bit too far to the bottom, so I didn't quite see that health bar. But I saw it earlier show up, and I was like, hey, that's a good moment to show up. No Spore Crawler yet. Queen's tiny bit out of position. Then I see a stasis, and I'm like, whoa, Fjant's playing with fire here. Those could get stuck. But Fjant is showing us that he's built different, and he laughs in the face of danger. Like, those queens do get stuck. You don't have a Spore there, mate. It's pretty bad, right? Like, Oracle activates, fills a beam again, kills 7 more drones. Well, Fjant apparently knew exactly what he was doing. HiGhDrA has gone for a L'Explosion de Gate. There's a little tribute shout out to Todd. I've been talking a little bit with Todd in the last few days. He's banking up a lot of adepts. Fjant seems to be quite ready for it. Fjant seems to be having a very good feeling that something is just not quite adding up here. Doesn't seem to be a very big believer in what he has seen. It does have a lot of links. Links, obviously. I mean, it doesn't mean that they're bad, but you just have to be careful with how you fight with these links.
Yeah, I think HiGhDRA's kind of trying to sell that this is just going to be a more standard blink play because he's warped in a few stalkers here. These Lings not really getting the fight they want to start against these Adepts, and the Ravagers I think are also going to have to back up because this is just not the engagement that they want to take here. A couple batteries, 3 batteries even being added for HiGhDRA. I don't mind this play considering that it's only 3 hatch, only 46 drones for Fjant, so being a little bit safer, probably advisable.
We've got 4 adapts splitting off. It is kind of cool. Like, in the end, there's HiGhDRA at first. You're like, oh no. And you're like, wait a minute. This is actually kind of good for me because he made a lot of links. The links cannot get the cancel that they wanted. So I don't really need to do a lot of damage because you've already done damage to your own economy. And that's exactly what we are looking at here. Now, it's still nice to get some extra additional value out of all these adapts. And that is what these adapts are finding now. A lot of lost mining time. Excellent target firing there by HiGhDRA. HiGhDRA's making a lot of good decisions here. He's got a double robo follow-up. It's not impossible for Fjant, but I have seen a lot of games of this, like this, of Fjant in the past, where Fjant is really good in games where I feel like he kind of does his thing and things go according to plan. But the moment he gets trapped into one of these games where, yeah, 1 or 2 things surprised him and it wasn't quite what he expected, he forgets about a couple of like core Zerg fundamentals, like spreading creep. Why are we not spreading creep? Why are we not droning up? Why are we just stuck on this low drone count and walking around with roaches, links, ravages? You're 1 bad fight away here from straight up being dead.
Yeah, especially once Blink finishes and the first 2 Immortals hit the field, which are both about 10 seconds away, it's really going to get a lot harder for Fjant to claw himself out of this position because he just does not have the kind of army that wants to fight straight up against Protoss unless you're all-inning, and that window is effectively closed here.
Yeah, this is not even an attack.
Very tough for him.
I really don't like this attack. Like, yeah, he's got a tiny army supply lead, but it is right before roach speed. Fjanty boy, mate, what have you seen? What are you... Well, okay, he's still gonna go for the roaches. Slow roaches now getting in range. Stalkers are getting healed up. Don't forget it's double battery. I'd love to see energy recharge being used on the side of HiGhDRA. I don't like his bully. Like, it's just it's an anti-timing. Look now, the moment that we retreat with our tail between our legs home, that's when the roach speed finishes up. Why? What?
Yeah, it's really not ideal. I think against this army, the Roach Ravager, I think the better chance that he has is just to sit at home and hope that you can transition to the next phase of the game, because ultimately, you know, the Glaive Adepts are not going to be that strong marching to the other side of the map to fight away from batteries, away from advantageous terrain. But I understand Fjant's uneasiness. Obviously, if the game plan does not go the way you want it to for the Zerg, it feels so bad to have to play from behind. But the way that he's chosen to, you know, move on from that position really doesn't seem like it's worked out either.
To go back to my previous point, there are 2 active creep tumors, you know, between the 4th base, 3rd, and natural. They've been there for like 4 minutes now. That's just like, that's not the right way to go about it. And if Fjant is in his zone, and if he can still just stick to his cycles, I can promise you that half the map right now be covered in creeps. But just because he's been thrown off a little bit, and now he feels like he's in the wild west, he completely forgets about these things. He does need to drop a couple of corrosive balls to take care of these force fields, gets a couple, also damages his own units. Are these Lings or Banes? Just Zerglings. There is very little to find here. HiGhDRA again with a devastating 3 base move out. Does have Adept, Resonating Glaive upgrade from the early game, does have Blink now as well. It is, I don't know how you hold this if you're Fjant. Fjant needs to pull off a minor modern day Zerg miracle to win the fight against this Protoss army.
Yeah, it's really not looking good. This is a good spot to fight again with all the force fields just choking up this army so much, forcing the biles to be used on force fields, reducing the effective DPS. The fight is not terrible, but it's just an uphill battle, and I don't know how he ever breaks through this. The Immortals standing strong in the back, just getting massive damage, and even as some of the biles land, it's just not good enough for the Zerg.
Yeah, a couple of drones helping out. I mean, that one blink was maybe a tiny bit questionable. The Link showing up at the bottom, like they're trying to make the difference. But the beauty of still having that Warp Prism is that HiGhDRA can always warp in the right units, just depending on how that battle folds out. If it comes down to the Roaches, you warp in Stalkers. If it comes down to a couple of extra Zerglings or even drones, yeah, that's when you warp in those extra depths. You still have Resonating Glaive from the early game. And HiGhDRA takes the 2-0 lead. And yeah, honestly, I think it was a strong game by HiGhDrA. Despite the fact that he lost that Oracle, it felt at the moment like HiGhDrA had his plan mapped out. He's like, I'm going to warp in all these adepts. I'm going to surprise him. The moment that HiGhDrA realized that Fjant actually also made a lot of units to deal damage to him, I feel like HiGhDrA made all the correct follow-up choices, while Fjant, I feel like panic took over. And Fjant was just kind of running from left to right without, like a chicken without its head, you know, no sense of direction, not really sure what we're looking for. HiGhDrA made all the correct choices, the double robo, couple of depths here, couple of depths there, make sure we're safe and sound at home. And Fjant just forgot about a lot of the things that make him a great Zerg player, where it comes to sizing up an army, knowing when to macro, knowing when to attack. We had a weird attack, we didn't spread any creep, we were kind of stuck in drones, units, yes, move out, no move out. It just... HiGhDrA looked a lot more composed there, I think is the best word to use.
Yeah, I think game one, you can kind of chalk that up to just a little bit of a misread on the game state. Obviously, you know, we had probably more drones than we needed. We had the Spire. That's not one that I think Fjant probably feels too bad about, but I think that second game, he never got himself on stable footing, and things just feel uncomfortable from there. So we'll see if Fjant can manage to pull it back. I believe in the Goober leader. I think he can turn it around.
Yeah, I don't think this one is over yet. These are two unique games. I do think it's going to be very difficult for Fjant to win the best of 5, because HiGhDrA once more is a true... It's almost like he's an old school Protoss, right? Where sort of Protosses were so known for their 2-base attacks or their 3-base timing attacks. HiGhDrA just knows what he loves in life, and that is a form of harassment and then some trickery and a devastating attack. And he really got quite a master in that playstyle. A lot of other players are a little bit of everything, you know, sometimes they zig, sometimes they zag. We don't really know. Let's see what the other guy has. HiGhDrA just knows what he wants, and he's damn good in executing it. And for Fjant right now to have all the correct reads for 3 games in a row, have all the right answers and never die, that's going to be really tough. Not impossible, but just really, really tough. Bottom left side, guys, of Frostline. He's down 0-2. He needs some love and support in the chat. Hey, Svariga, give it up for Fjant.
And our friend in the top right, up 2-0 as we get into Frostline here for Alien Esports. My boy HiGhDrA.
Up 2-0. What a gamer. Alright, that is, you know, no matter what happens from here on out, I'm just happy for HiGhDrA that it's so much better than last time. And sure, Fjant is no special. Like, Special has a much more impressive resume, has a lot more experience, but I'm just happy to see that HiGhDrA actually is able to show what he's made out of. Because those games against Cornito, it just didn't look like much, and I'm sure he was very bummed out about those. I know HiGhDrA is just a really lovable guy who loves StarCraft and wants to get better, wants to show the scene what he's made out of, hang out with the big boys still. And that best of 5 was definitely a bit of a setback. Today, whole new man, I'm happy to see him perform at this level. He's doing great.
Yeah, I think some days are just not your days. Also, I think any StarCraft player knows that feeling where you just sort of never quite get it together. So I agree, a little bit of an underperformance, and it's nice to see him kind of get back into the groove.
Sorry to cut you off there, mate, but I had that day in April 2013. Unfortunately, it never ended. Like it's I'm still stuck in that day, Bully. Any words of wisdom?
You know, I'll be honest with you. If I thought that I had any idea about how you were supposed to get better at StarCraft, I wouldn't be here right now. I'd be playing as a captain in the ATL, as opposed to just commentating teenagers who surpassed me years ago.
Twilight Council down. We're gonna warp in a robotics facility as well. Ooh, Fjant, his Zergling was almost in. I mean, no Twilight Council this time. Straight Twilight Council, straight Robo. Dark Shrine. Oh my goodness, that is just dirty. Up 2-0. A 3-minute and 18-second Dark Shrine.
I think Fjant can probably infer in just a moment that it's not Stargate, but at least obviously for right now, he kind of doesn't have anything to go off of. Obviously, an Oracle would be hitting the field right now if it was Stargate, so I think he's going to put that together relatively soon. But what it is, if it's not Stargate, is kind of the bigger question, and there's obviously a lot of options here for the Protoss. Could be a Charge all-in, could be a Glaives all-in, could be DTs like this. Could be some kind of immortal all-in. So this Overlord is going to need to give him a little bit of information, but a Stalker is in position right now to try to prevent that scout as we speak. Although, as I say that, it's for some reason wandering to the bottom of the ramp and is going to force away those lings. So we do see the Prism, we do see the Robo.
Yep, we see the Prism, we see the Robo, and if it just goes a tiny bit deeper, we get to see the Dark Shrine as well. Oh my, HiGhDrA. I mean, maybe he got excited because he saw those Zerglings or something. He's like, let me get some extra hits off on the Zerglings. But that allowed this Overlord to sneak in, and this is a massive scout. Because now all the spores are on the production tab, and even if one of them gets picked off, we can still run another spore over. Game-winning scout right there, man, because I don't think that would have been in time. And now we're going to morph the DT straight into Archons, but that's alright for Fjant. Like, we've got Queens, we've got Lings, we've got Roaches. I think at this point, what I really want to see Fjant do is make so certain that HiGhDrA stays a 2-base Protoss. Have always one Ling at a potential 3rd, one Ling at a potential 4th, so you don't fall into that trap. It's like, he's supposed to take the other base. No. You're never supposed to do anything in StarCraft. You do whatever the hell you want, and do not only check for one of the potential 3rd base locations. Good job there by HiGhDrA sniping the Creep Tumor, but it does remind Fjant that he should drop it again immediately. Minor supply block there, Bully, 74, 74, 7 Overlords on the way at once, but hey, who's keeping track?
If it works for a laser, it can work for Fjant. I see nothing wrong with that. I do like HiGhDRA's decision to just instantly morph these into Archons after the Scout. Obviously, there's always a chance that you just get lucky and are able to get this 3rd base, but it's just such a risk, especially if you're forced to morph them to Archons and recall when the units show up. So this does, I think, probably give Fjant a little bit more breathing room. And like you said, if he is able to deny the 3rd base for quite some time, I think this still looks good for him. Obviously, the Archons are always going to be able to get a little bit of value here, but considering that he scouted it as the Dark Shrine was finishing, this is perfectly playable for Fjant.
That was a cute potential snipe on that Prism. You know,
you gotta try, right?
Yeah, you just gotta try, mate. Like, you never know. You know, you tried it 1,000 times, and 1 in 1,000, you're an absolute legend. Who kills a War Prism with 2 Archons inside of it? And the other 999 times, you're like, well, that didn't really cost me anything, so who cares? A little force field going down, some Wings of Liberty tactics. Yeah, I one time got Lambo in a ladder game with this old trick. War Prism, Gateway all in, and I force fielded him out of his main. On this map with some water and gold bases and beaches. I think Lambo still remembers that game because he's like, that's actually the first time you ever beat me. And I was like, oh, I know. I was sure keeping track.
I'm sure he's grateful you're reminding everyone, too.
You know, after that, he has beat me a million times with every single race imaginable. Yeah. So let me have my one little ladder win over Lambo.
That's right. I hate to do this. Someone is knocking at my door. I'll be right
good,
back.
Mate. Oh, good. I'll take a little look at it. I hope you're safe. Make sure you know who it is, Bully. Couple Archons, Immortal Sentries, and Zealots and +1. Don't open the door for strangers, guys. Unfortunately, that is risky business these days. War Prism splits off into the main. 4 Zealots become 11 Zealots. Same hotpot. I really don't like it. You know, in the 90s, I really didn't care. I was always like, oh, strangers. And these days, I'm like, what do they want? Why are they here? I think Fjant has the numbers now. The Immortals are always very powerful, and the Spore is not quite participating in the fight. It's not the prettiest fight over here, guys, for the Zerg, but Archons are dying, Immortals are dying, 13 drones have died. That is an issue, I think, against Zealots in the main base. Very nice War Prism micro. HiGhDrA is making this as close as it gets, but in the end decides to recall. Well, great attack, honestly, guys, by 2 base HiGhDrA. Fires up +2. How many Immortals did we save? Just 1, right? Yeah, so one of the 2 recalled Immortals dies. Fires up a Robobay now. Fjant in a bit of trouble, guys, with those 33 drones. I do not like the idea of losing units here. Like, if you want to kill the Cybercore or something, you want to kill a Gateway, that's fine. Please don't bleed out too many units. Fjant confident. If there's no Prism, I would be okay with this attack, but if there is a Prism, don't do it. It's been a tough series, Sega. Can obviously talk to you guys a little bit, guys, while Bully is dealing with whoever is at his door. I'm gonna assume it's a 10 out of 10 model. I've seen Bully, guys. He plays Protoss. He wipes in a lot of DTs. He's well-spoken, incredibly handsome, and a great guy See, that's when the random models just knock on your door. I've unfortunately not really had that happen in my life, but knowing Bully, it's probably Miss Minnesota, Miss North Dakota, Miss South Dakota, perhaps all three of them at the same time. Wondering if Bully will have some time on his action-packed Friday to take one of the 3 lucky girls to dinner. That's my best guess. Mixer says, I think HiGhDrA could expand. I think he probably should expand, but it's also HiGhDrA. Hello, Mixer. It is HiGhDrA, and I think HiGhDrA kind of knows what he loves in life. Fjant is still very low on the drones. 3 queens remaining. Leaves a little Zergling behind. I was already at the door, Jeff. The first time that Vicky arrived, mate, I was already at the door. I opened it before she could knock. I was happy to find a visitor in Zuidland. They were very rare. Food delivery mistake for Bully? Nah, not for Bully. That would happen to me. Or actually, like in my case these days, whenever somebody knocks, it's always DHL, UPS, PostNL, whatever. I am known as the little neighborhood hotspot where everybody can drop their packages. Nova flies forward, actually kills the Zealot. HiGhDrA, guys, has now +2. Oh, Fjanty boy. How terrified are we? I expect Bully, by the way, to make a sound when he's back. So I'll just keep on yapping. I'm kind of scared, guys, for Fjant. Yes, he's got a bigger army, but he needs to worry about +2 Immortals, Archons, Zealots, a War Prism. That's so many Immortals. The corrosive balls do connect a little bit. Disruptor. I almost say Fjant needs to just keep guiding on creep and maybe hope that this Disruptor actually connects with a couple of Protoss units. Wow, what a split! Fjant like Raynor in his prime. Splits to keep his hopes and dreams alive. Kill that Prism. Can he kill that Prism? HiGhDrA is losing a lot of probes on the other side of the map, but his bases are mined out anyway, so who cares? It is all about this army. 21 workers falling. That doesn't matter. But, well, actually it does matter, because now we can't drop in any Zealots. Pull the drones. Fjant, Big Brain Bout, live on the live. Pull those drones. Move those units forward. It's good enough, guys. I think it is barely good enough. With a couple of drones leading the charge. Yeah, Melee probably should have cancelled, but you know, HiGhDrA did show signs of wanting to expand. In the end, he didn't. Fjant fights back and stays alive. What a game. What a hold there in the end. Very well done. That was not easy. +2 Archons and Immortals. They hit like a Volvo truck. And as a man from Sweden, Fjant knows a thing or two about Volvo trucks. Well, I hope it's not the Popo who took my boy Bully. He's still not back, guys. What has Bully been up to? Has he wiped in a few too many DTs? Is that against state laws over there in Minnesota? Do they keep track? Is every citizen only allowed to wipe in like 200 DTs a month? And sir, we have noticed a vast increase in your DT wipe-ins. In October, November, December, January and February, you averaged around 700 DTs. Do you know how bad this is for the Starcraft 2 ecosystem, sir? Bully's like, oh, fuck off, sir. I meant no harm. yeah, Bully owes some taxes. Every DT past 200, I think that's a couple buckies to the state. Bully's like, where do you think I'm gonna find all this money? It's your problem. You made all those DTs. Could have gone for some Zealots, mate. Could have built a Phoenix. Could have been honorable. You go ham on the DTs, you gotta pay for it. The DT tariffs hit Minnesota and North Dakota different. Maybe Bully needs to move, guys. I heard Arkansas has no laws yet on DT warp-ins. Bully is AFK. Someone is at his door. So what I think we should do, guys, since Bully is still not here, I would like to give him a couple minutes, because obviously Bully is the one who put this fight card together. He is the man who reached out many weeks ago to me and he said, Rod, it'd be awesome if we could do something with all things Protoss and Big Brain Bouts. And I said, absolutely, mate. Why not? We do regular Big Brain Bouts all the time. If I can make the all things Protoss community happy, we still have great games. Like, there's not that much that is different. Like, yeah, just eliminate some people who don't participate in that. But hey, next week is open to everyone again. So yeah, I like the idea. It is his night. He put it together. He had it together like 2 weeks ago. I'd like to give him a couple minutes. I'm sure that he will send me a message in case he can't come back, but that seems very unlike Bully. It can't be that bad. He is the reason there were 3-0s earlier. He is, but you know, that can happen to all of us. Sorry guys, I was a bit distracted there. My man TKL wrote me and I just responded rather like short, because whenever I'm streaming, like I'm always trying to keep it very short. Please, it's the Popo! I told you guys it's the Popo! Oh no! Oh no, the Popo is coming. It's the DT tariff. Ay, ay, ay. We'll give it a couple minutes, guys. I'll take a tiny break. Hey, guys, let's give Bully a few minutes. Sorry about this. Police is in his building. Since it's kind of his night, I'd like to give him a chance to make it back. If he's not back in, let's say 5 to 10, we just go. But he's keeping us posted. The drama. Protoss caster gets arrested live on air for making way too many DTs on the ladder. It had to happen one day, guys. The headline you didn't think you would find on SE Reddit on the Saturday morning, but we live in a crazy world. And someone's gonna have to pay the price for all those DTs. Alright, I told the guys that I'm gonna take a little break. No, come on. Who the hell is gonna do that to Bully, man? No, that's probably not it. We'll take a little break. We'll give him a couple minutes. Maybe it's just some research. I'd like to see if Bully can make it back to Game 4. He actually missed a pretty exciting ending of our Zerg staying alive. Give me a couple min. I'll be back. Game 4. Big Brain Bouts main event coming up. And obviously, while we are waiting for Bully, if you guys have any questions, feel free to ask them. And I will answer them as soon as I'm back. I'll see you guys soon. Game 4 coming up. Alright. I'm back. We'll give it a few more minutes. Obviously, eventually, I don't want to hold the game up any longer. But most of the time, these things shouldn't take too long. We'll trust Bully on his updates. We should be fine. Game 4 would be played on Talisman, in case any of you guys are very curious about that. I still believe that this series can go on for a little while longer, but you know, that last game showed how difficult it is to always have the right read on what HiGhDrA is doing. If it wasn't for that Stalker leaving, guys, if that Stalker stays where it originally was, and if that Stalker guns down the Overlord before it spots the Robo, before it spots the War Prism or the Dark Shrine, there's a good chance this would have already been the end. And Bully would have been here till the very end, and he just would have to very abruptly leave while we go over the night together in the end. Next week we'll have a regular Big Brain Bouts. I have two I have two gamers set for the main event next week. That is one that I've already done. Other than that, I haven't really made any plans yet. We'll kind of see how the Monday night plays out. Whether it's Wardy's Cup in the afternoon, or our Cup in the evening, or the Pigosaurus Cup late at night. We keep an eye on those results, and we'll see if anybody stands out, if anyone over-delivers, if they really deserve a invite. The main event is set. It's not rocket science to figure it out, but I'm still not confirming it. I'll leave it in the air until the official announcement is out. But anybody who's been here enough will probably know what the main event is next Friday. Should be fun. I'm excited for that. I hope you guys had fun.
Okay,
hey,
we're back.
I hear my Bully. Welcome back, mate. DT tariffs, am I right?
Yeah, I tell you what, they're really trying to take me out these days. It's unbelievable what they're trying to pull. They can't kill me in games. They're trying to get me in real life.
All right, you missed a pretty exciting ending, by the way, mate, to Game 3. It really got quite close. HiGhDrA went for an all-out attack, 2 bases, Immortals, Archons, +2, and a Disruptor. It honestly wasn't an easy hold, but Fjant also got a Zergling run by going on the other side of the map, so he killed 20 probes. There were no extra Zealots showing up, and in the end, it was just barely good enough for the Swedish Zerg. That is what you missed.
Well, I'm glad to see that he clawed one back in the bottom left. The Goober leader playing for Team Roddy and his ATL team's pride and honor. It is Fjant.
Top right side, we are looking in the main base of our Dutch Protoss, having a much better showing tonight than he had a couple weeks ago, and that makes me happy because he really is a very sweet guy. This is Alien Esports HiGhDrA. I expect him to be at the next Home Story Cup again as well. How far along are you at the Home Story Cup planning, mate? Is it like set in stone 100% or?
We are locked in.
Oh, I love hearing that,
We are locked
mate.
in. We have purchased flights, got together with the boys that I'm traveling with, and we've got a rough itinerary sketched out. So I think we got a few details for Home Story Cup to still be ironed out. Still got to get tickets, figure out some lodging, but I think we're going to try to address that very shortly here. A lot of travel this summer for me.
Home Story Cup 27 will happen on the 27th of June, mate. 27, 28, 29 of June. No announcements yet in regards of players or qualifiers or casters, but expect it to be, like many of the other Home Story Cups, guys, just a good old time, a celebration of Starcraft, with hopefully a lot of different community members making it from different parts of Europe, if not NA. It's quite a few Americans that make the trip these days. We often have a once in a while South American stopping by, like someone coming, or from Middle America. We have Australians coming by. Home Story Cup really is just a mega fun time. And I always say this, and I will keep saying it as long as it's around. If you guys love StarCraft still in the year 2025 and you have the funds to make the trip and you've never gone and you've always kind of felt that you should have gone once, just do it. It is really cool, man. StarCraft is amazing online, but it's even better offline, where you can spend time with all your internet friends and you can meet your favorite video gamers or a couple of the casters, obviously not the entire casting crew. I think there's a good chance that even Pig is going to be in Europe this summer, and he might be at Home Story Cup too, guys. So another reason to come out to see that handsome Australian bastard.
It is. It always has just looked like the one of the best StarCraft events out there. Obviously, it's tough to get there from the U.S. Krefeld, not exactly, let's call it the most convenient location to fly into for Americans, but very excited. Even the two friends that I'm traveling with, they are not StarCraft 2 fans, but I kind of described the event to them, and even they think they're going to have a good time. And I think that's going to be no problem at all.
I'll make sure, mate. I'm going to be there. I'll make sure that your boys have a great time. And, you know, like obviously if you're North American, it may seem like, oh, this is a nightmare, like Krefeld, what the hell is this? Sounds like a dump, but it is a bit of a dump, guys. But the beautiful thing about Europe is that it's honestly rather small, especially like that part of Europe. So you can fly to Frankfurt and you'll be in Krefeld within 2 hours. You can fly to Amsterdam and you'll be to Krefeld in 2.5 hours. Düsseldorf has a slightly bigger airport. It's not quite like the massive international, ultra well-connected hub, but don't get discouraged by the fact that it seems like it's in the middle of nowhere and it's really hard to get to. The train system in Europe really is an excellent way to get around, or maybe some StarCraft friends can help you out. I have a Discord, and in my Discord there are always super nice nerds that will help people if they arrive at a train station or an airport, where you can say like, hey guys, I'm arriving here and there, I could really use a pickup. There are plenty of lovely nerds that will help you out, and I will obviously, if you're worried about that, I can vouch for them. Hopefully you trust me. If you can do it, if you have the money for it, if you can take time off work, university, whatever, stop by Home Story Cup 27. We're going to try to make it another awesome StarCraft party.
Yeah, I agree with everything you've said. I mean, that's one thing that was definitely reinforced to me with the North American Dream Hacks, is that you know, a lot of nerds will just help each other out, whether it's offering, you know, to let people get in on an Airbnb, or taking them out to dinner, or buying a few drinks, sharing lifts. It really is honestly one of the best things about the scene, that basically anyone who's showing up live to an event is going to be just a nice person who's trying to help people out. Obviously, people might think, I play a lot of these donkeys on the ladder. Surely they're not that nice, but I think there's a definite difference between the people that you play on the 1v1 ladder and the people who are actually showing up, trying to contribute to the community. And yeah, I've always thought that, and I think Home Story Cup is a great example of exactly that.
Game 4, we've got an Immortal on the production tab. We've got one Immortal already at home. And for now, it is just a bunch of Adepts with Resonating Glaive Adept. One Adept is in the middle of nowhere. That one gets picked off, but 5 Adepts have shaded into the main base. Fjant's economy is not massive, so you really cannot take devastating losses to his drone count. Loses 5 so far, but he does clean these up rather quickly. Now let's not move everything away, because there are more Adepts coming. This shade gets cancelled after HiGhDrA realized that Fjant is still nearby. Overall, I'd say quite good by Fjant, but sure he lost some, but hey, if Protoss is going to suicide adapts that deep into the middle of your 3 bases, they're always gonna get something, right?
Yeah, I think so. I think this is an acceptable number of losses for Fjant. Obviously, you prefer to keep as many drones as alive as possible, and the Prism is still kind of working a little bit of back and forth magic here. More adepts in the main, though, actually getting almost as many drones, 5 here, but this is still okay for Fjant. We just can't take too much damage from whatever this follow-up is going to be. He does see with the Overlord that it's 4 more gateways being added. Should also anticipate that Immortals are being produced behind this. But we do have these 2 sort of mixed gold bases for Fjant, so should be okay.
Yeah, that's the nice thing, right? Like, oh, half of the base is a gold. What is not nice is that I feel like you're inviting a strange, weird game. By the way, HiGhDrA's got like 33 supply and he's like 2 more pylons. This man is gearing up, baby. He is ready to warp in some units and he ain't stopping warping in units anytime soon. Like, that's what I don't like, because I do think there's a lot of things that Fjant is better at in this game than HiGhDrA. But if we start expanding in such a weird way, such an exposed way, such an aggressive forward way, it could backfire. But Fjant seems to believe that his 66 army supply of Zerg is more than enough to jump on this army in the middle of nowhere, and so far, Bully, he ain't wrong. This is a very convincing start of the fight, maybe the end of the fight already for Fjant. Fjant shuts this down before it even gets started. And HiGhDRA's really like 2 more pylons, but I don't know about these pylons.
Yeah, I don't know that the pylons or lack thereof was the problem with that engagement, but HiGhDRA disagrees. I will say, when I did play Fjant recently in the Monday Night Weekly on this map, he did make sure to tell me after he totally blasted me, don't worry, I don't know what Protoss is supposed to do on this map. I don't think that's necessarily what the problem was, but he seems to like Talisman quite a bit, and I think that these sort of mixed gold bases are a big reason why.
I mean, I played J-Money Magic on this map a couple times, mate, and that gave me the feeling that I don't know what Zerg is supposed to do. Because he was just bleeding out drones left, right, and center, and he didn't have a whole lot of them to begin with.
It looks like this is going to be kind of the last hurrah for HiGhDRA here as he tries to move up the ramp one more time. The Biles are going to start to blanket these Adepts. A couple of big shots on those Adepts already. And as the Roaches stutter step forward, I think HiGhDRA is going to have a tough time making anything work here. The Prism pickup micro can only do so much. And it's not even the worst fight of all time for the Protoss here, but I do think he's just a little bit too little, too late, as he does lose a bunch of probes to the Ling run by as well in the main. There's no economy to speak of. HiGhDRA may not have even realized it yet. But Fjant has just leveled up and tied up the series 2-2.
Wow, just like that. Down 0-2, and honestly hanging in for dear life towards the end of Game 3. And you blink twice and suddenly we find ourselves in Game 5. The main event has delivered. Short game there, HiGhDRA gearing up for that mass immortal sentry, but Fjant just had way more units. Fjant probably felt that he didn't need to drone up that much because he had 6 gold mineral patches to work with. And sure, he lost a couple drones, but he really didn't lose that many. He killed a decent amount of adepts, and it's just kind of a numbers game at that point, right? And Fjant didn't even have to really think twice about how he wanted to engage that army the first time. He's like, no, I've got like 40 supply more. I'm just gonna click it in. I hope to get us around and we'll shut it down. And he did. He made that look easy.
Yeah, absolutely. It was not too bad after all for Fjant. It did look a little bit dicey there. I have to agree with that. But yeah, I'm just glad to see him claw it back. We get a Game 5 in the main event. That's about as good a result as you could ask for. And I'm excited to see who takes this banger best of 5 on one of our ATL specific maps, Anomaly Found by Omni Skeptic.
As we load into this exciting map with the thunderstorms, we have Narcosis 666 first subbing and then giving out 10 subbies to the community as well. And I even see that Haleezy is in there. I'm a big fan of Haleezy. And Poison. Oh my goodness. All the ladies getting lucky tonight. Look at that bully. And maybe Friday's night is ladies' night on this channel.
Well, it's always ladies' night with Roddy, or at least that's what was explained to me.
20 years ago, mate, I would have rolled with that. These days, I'm not sure. That's
maybe
cool.
we'll let Raynor take over. How's that sound?
Yeah, exactly. You know, there's a time and a place for everything, mate. Eventually, you have to make space for the next generation of young, handsome video gamers. And
That's right.
I'll give that one to
There's
Rainer.
There's a time and a place, and for some people, that time is always and the place is everywhere.
And my man David, by the way, as well. Sometimes, I'm sure you have this as well, where you, a
Mhm.
bunch of gifted subbies, and you look at the names, and you're like, I don't recognize any of these names. And now Narcos is gifting 10 subs, and I recognize like 4 of the names very well. People that I literally met, and then a couple of other people that have also been around. That is cool. So, an excellent sub gift there. We'll take that as we load into our final game of the Friday night. It all comes down to this. Winner of this game walks away with $150. The loser will get 50. Let's do it. Bottom right side, my Dutch Protoss amigo, Alien Esports HiGhDrA.
And in the top left, looking for what could be a reverse sweep in the main event, Team Maradi, Fjant, the Goober leader.
Bizarre map. I kind of like this map, to be honest. I just saw it for the first time earlier. That unfortunate game of Takua that I don't really want to think back anymore. At least not of the ending. But yeah, I think the map looks cool. It has nice sound effects. It just looks like it's enjoyable to load into. And I would have a good time moving some Zealots and Stalkers around. It's giving me some like good Warcraft 3 vibes with the color of the grass. A couple of the bases maybe a little bit out there, but I see a lot of different attack paths, which I'm always very fond of. Wouldn't hate seeing a map like this on the ladder.
Yeah, we the admins for ATL, we kind of took a vote on which of the maps from each of our 3 resident map makers we wanted to add, and this was a pretty convincing favorite. I do think it's very interesting. I like that it uses a tile set and a color palette that we don't normally see. I think you can see the first sort of 6 bases here do feel extremely close, but these 3 bases, one with a rich geyser, and then these 2 to the kind of south here that I'm looking at. Right? What is it? Why is it?
Let me follow you, because I don't know.
There we go.
Okay.
So these maps, these bases rather, these 3 bases here, all very close, seem easy to defend, but because these mineral lines are exposed to the high ground here, the low ground here, it does mean that they can be attacked from multiple locations. So it does make it a little bit less defensible than it might appear at first glance. You've got these speed zones also to help you kind of navigate through the top side, some healing shrines to allow for some shenanigans. I particularly like Phoenix or Oracles on maps like this.
I haven't played a game yet, Bully, but honestly, I look at this map and I'm like, I think I would enjoy building a couple Phoenix on it.
Yeah, so I think it's very interesting. I think Omni did a good job with this one, and of the maps that we kind of identified as his latest creations, this was a pretty strong favorite. So I'm excited to see it get used. The gamers are also not afraid to kind of play on the maps that are a little bit different, a little bit unorthodox, and so I'm excited to see what comes from this map this season.
I'm gonna suggest we put this map into our Monday Night Weekly, man. Why not? More fun maps. Get rid of some of these boring meta maps.
TLMC. So I think it's a good candidate.
Oracle out. HiGhDrA obviously has been aggressive throughout the series, whether it's 3 bases or 2 bases. Found a lot of success in the first 2 games with it, a little bit less in Game 3 and Game 4. I do think, looking at the layout of this map, I'd say it should favor Fjant because it's large. And I think any large map, like all that Fjant wants is to stabilize at least at 4 bases, get a good Zerg economy going, and then we can start multitasking. We can go for run-bys, we can poke at mineral lines, we can maybe hit with a little link drop, right? Anything, if it comes to that, I think we favor Fjant. HiGhDrA is looking for a strong start, find some damage, and then one devastating march of a strong, good old Protoss army to the other side of the map.
Yeah, I think so. I think it'll be a little bit easier, I think, for Fjant on this map than it was on maybe some of the others. So I think that bodes well for him. Slightly more standard layout than Talisman. So we'll see what comes of that. I do think one of the things that has the potential to be interesting here is if Fjant does, as it looks like he's gearing up for, play kind of a Ling Bane style. The distance between these bases is not too high, so Lings and Banes theoretically at least should have a good time going between them. Ooh, a fat stasis from the Oracle.
Yep, we're looking at 10, 12 drones and a queen, maybe a couple of the X too. That is big. Yeah, and HiGhDRA's like, you know what? That was so solid. Why not try to go for the back-to-back stasis? As he's gone for what looks like a bit of a Christiana, right? Like single Oracle into... Oh my goodness! The first one is good. The second one is even better. Now this queen is stuck too. HiGhDRA says, you know what? That's so fun. Let's do it again. Third time is unfortunately not the charm, but first one good. The second one fantastic. You gotta be loving that.
Yeah, he timed that second one just about perfectly. You can see the drones started to move away, but there just wasn't enough time. Really frustrating start for Fjant here, who's going to try to use these lings to get a little bit of value across the map. But with this defensive setup, I don't think there's a lot of wiggle room here for Fjant to get anything done. So a frustrating start, not the most dramatic damage. Obviously, you're not losing drones for that, but sometimes just throwing off the income for a minute is all you need.
Now these thunderstorms keep reminding me of the 7 ulti in Deadlock, where you drop the thunderstorm as well. The sound effect is incredibly similar. I'm starting to believe that a couple of these map makers right now, and these gun sounds that I hear in the SC2 Evo mod, I think, Bully, they're secretly playing some Deadlock with me, mate, because this cannot be a coincidence.
We give Gemini a hard time for playing Counter-Strike with the boys, but Roddy sees lightning one time and goes, oh my god, this is just like Deadlock.
Absolutely, mate. I'm like, I'm ready. I'm like pressing 4 on my keyboard as we speak. I was like, that's me. I'm killing something. That's my only trick, baby.
Now, some lings do try to slip by in the natural. They might get the Adept here, but another Warpin is going to seal up that natural wall. Lings...
Yes, no.
Ling's not doing a whole lot here. The Archon drop also trying to threaten these roaches. The Queens.
Ooh. Oh my god, he gets out. Does he get out? You can see the panic.
Very scary.
He gets out.
Yeah, I think one more creep tumor there, and he actually loses the Prism. The Queens would have been able to catch up. Very scary there. Does need to be very cautious with that Prism. Obviously, don't want to send that into 4 Queens again. It's not going to survive. Fjant is trying to establish this low ground rich Vespene Geyser. Something to note here is that the gas geysers at this third and at the fourth only have half the gas that they normally would, because it is just a little bit easier to take more bases on this map. It's the triangle and linear locations that have full gas geysers. So it's going to give you some pretty safe gas income to start, but it just won't last as long. Kind of forces you to expand a little bit more aggressively if you are playing a gas heavy composition.
Well, Fjant is gonna potentially get his hands on the rich Vespene Geyser, but instead he is the one who decides to be aggressive here with nothing but roaches, ravages, zerglings, queens. We have Overlord speed on the way, a Dropper Lord. I'll be honest, I don't love it, even though it might work, but I feel like HiGhDrA is the one who's always gearing up to attack you. So by making your units go to the other side of the map, queens off creep, I think it's a poor choice by Fjant. And all queens get pounded on immediately. That is 5 ladies falling before the battle has even started. And if I was HiGhDrA, I'd just be chilling right now, make a few more immortals. Why Fjant? I mean, Fjant still has a lot of supply, so he always has a shot. Without all of Ravages, you always have a shot. But strategically, I do not like this decision at all.
I think the SimCity does work a little bit against HiGhDrA here. He is going to lose this third Nexus, I think, for sure. So at least there's that for Fjant. I originally did not love the position that he decided to attack in. I think going up to the high ground might have worked a little bit better, but he's forcing a lot of these Immortals to fight, and the link drop in the natural is huge.
Yep, and HiGhDrA has reacted somewhat slow. Some of the other games react, I want to say, a tiny bit quicker here, but that is still 7 workers going down rather quickly. And the Ravages in these numbers, they're going to be able to just drag this battle on and on. Now, HiGhDrA is also counterattacking with just a couple Zealots, but the Roaches have an answer for it. It started off as a Zerg Nightmare. Ooh, Stasis Trappy here, by the way. Could have some big potential. But I think in the end, it has all worked out for Fjant, even though he lost basically all of his queens. He is going to build a Spire. Now, this army is in a bit of an awkward spot. I would say Fjant is almost there, but he ain't there yet. He's going to try to jump on these Immortals. Corrosive Balls for days. It's so much Zerg. But a War Prism sitting pretty in the back with 7 Zealots and 5 Immortals. You want to say the dream is alive, but the Prism gets picked off. So that dream gets absolutely shattered. And I think the reverse sweep is complete. The Team Roddy's Fjant. Well, Bully, don't ask us how, but it seems like he got it done.
Yeah, I think HiGhDrA, at least on paper, had a good setup, but after losing the Nexus, things started to just fall apart. It was really the Ling drop in the natural that I think pulled enough attention away. And with HiGhDrA distracted, just could not make the defense work. The Sim City was tragic at the third base. I understand the move in principle just to deny maybe some of the power of Ling run buys, but it wasn't the Lings that spelled his demise. It was the Roach Ravager. Even losing the Queens didn't matter here, as we're reliving this slightly unnecessary Queen loss.
Yeah, what I actually think that HiGhDrA should have done, mate, is you never leave here. You just fight. Like, this is such a great start to the fight. You can on top maybe have a couple of Ravages as well. And even if it turns into like a very close, like, you kill, I kill, you kill, I kill fight, that is kind of good for you, mate, because the Zerg is very committed. It is just lair tag Zerg without any Queens right now. Like, I don't see why we gave up on this area. You get a great start, and I think you just pull the Zealots back, let the Immortals and Archons fight, get a few more Warpins going. But yeah, the moment that we put our army into this like choke point down this tiny ramp, like, this entire situation, it does nothing for HiGhDrA, right? This is not a good spot to be in.
You can also see that those 5 Zealots that he worked in at the third just moved commanded past the Roach Ravager and died for free. And I think you're right that if he maintains this position on that ramp and then eventually gets the Warpins to kind of pincer this Roach Ravager army, things look a lot differently for him. It obviously took a little while to get that Nexus down, so if we had maybe poked and prodded, we could have bought enough time, maybe 2 Zealots to stop the 8-lings in the natural, just because we do have +1, they can clean things up relatively quickly. Yeah, I think the map maybe being a little less familiar meant that HiGhDrA, just hasn't played the situation before. Wasn't really exactly sure what the right move was, but Fjant nonetheless pulls off the reverse sweep. Very proud of the Goober leader for sparing a little bit of his honor, getting the big dub here, and most importantly, I think we can all agree, completely and totally redeeming me.
And also just great for HiGhDrA that even if it didn't work out, a much better showing than last time. Like, he actually showed us that he's so good in so many of the things that he enjoys. Had a promising start to this game, was close to closing it out in Game 3 as well. So all of that makes me happy for him. Even if he doesn't walk away with the victory, he still gets $50. And also nice for Fjant to have a great start to his weekend, 150 buckies. And nothing feels better than a reverse sweep for any gamer in any video game out there. And I mean, don't forget that previous one, Bully, even if it was a 3-1 with that crazy game on the Magnet map of all maps. I can't believe it. That map had to be the one that delivered. That was a great series. I don't think you or your matchmaking was ever the problem tonight. He's asleep right now. We can safely say it. We can think out loud. Gemini is the problem.
Yeah, he's gonna be really upset to have to confront this reality when he wakes up. But at this point, it's unavoidable. I don't know what other interpretation someone could walk away from this night with, other than Gemini is cursed. Luckily, he is taking a purely administrative role this season, and he's not going to drag somebody's team down. So at least there's that. I'm going to try to do my best to act as a counterbalance this season, and we can hopefully save esports despite this incredibly powerful curse on Gemini.
Thank you to Captain Bogusnot as well for gifting us 5 more subbies. As we are getting closer to the end of March, we have a little discount running on Twitch right now. I think it's 35% off on gifted subs, so I see it. There's a little influx in gifted subs, which is very cool. I appreciate the love. I'm glad you guys are still enjoying StarCraft after all these years. Bully, any links that you would like to share with the people that are still here right now in regards of all things Protoss and the upcoming season for you guys?
Yes, I do want to mention this is a big thing that we are doing a circuit this year. So there's going to be a spring split that is just about to happen. After that, we're going to host an ATP Super Tournament that will give points to team members who perform well in each of the pools. We're also going to have a summer split, which is another just like Team League mini season. We'll have another super tournament after that, and then the ATL Grand Finals with the best performing players from both splits. I'm going to post the Discord link in the chat. I'd encourage people to go there and join the server, because there will be the opportunity for people to still sign up, be substitutes, get on teams for the summer split. There's going to be a lot of moving and shaking that happens as some people are just not able to play the next season. You can still join the super tournaments. And, perhaps more importantly than anything else, they'll just be able to get notified when Gemini, when myself, when some of the other B streamers go live and catch these series. We make a really, really big effort to make sure that all the games get casted. And even if you're not a super high level player, if you're like a Diamond 1 guy, a Diamond 3 guy, I would still encourage you to get involved. Takua, who we saw play in the first match of the night, he's honestly probably one of the most popular players in the league overall, despite being in the lowest pool. Just because he's such a nice guy, he shows off really good games. And yeah, I think being low level is honestly not a problem at all for this league. A lot of players who are diamond, they get a lot of love. They can carry their teams. They can get big wins. And because we use this pool system, wins by diamond players are just as meaningful as wins by captains. So you could have a week where Fjant goes 0-2, but his pool 4 player goes 2-0 and saves the team. And that's one of the most incredible things about this league is that everyone has equal importance for their team and they can be a star.
I love it, mate. I look forward to it. I can't watch the first play day because that overlaps with something else. But throughout the season, I'll definitely stop by a couple of times and I'll be rooting for my favorite memers that I either know from the letter or from Twitch chat. It's going to be fun. I know you guys have a really cool thing going, and I actually really enjoyed participating as well last time, but I just have a few too many things right now. And I feel like this is one of these things that if I sign up and I do get a team, then I really want to make sure that I give it the love and attention it deserves. And I feel like I can't really do that right now. So I prefer to just watch from the sidelines. But I think it's awesome, mate. Community Starcraft is so important. And I think tonight was a pretty good way to get things going for the next season, right?
I agree. We just really want to say thank you to you and Basilisk. When I approached you about this idea a few weeks back, I thought that you would be excited about it, but it was just really rewarding, I think, for everyone to put this great community league in the spotlight. I loved that Basilisk was enthusiastic about it, helped us out. Big shout out to them for putting up the money, for putting together the graphics. I know they do that every week, but the fact that they are doing that for a community league when they don't have to is really, really something that we're very excited about. So I think it's great. I would encourage people to join the server, get involved. We have a league discussion channel where people discuss the games. They post memes after every week. It's really a lot of fun. And the more viewers we can get, the more players we can get, I think the more opportunity there is for us to keep this growing. We have a lot of prize money this season, too. I think we're nearing $2,000 in total prize money for the circuit, thanks to some community members who have helped pitch in. Even Proto has thrown in some money. So we're really excited about that.
Awesome, mate. I love it. I'm excited for you guys, and I'll be excited to support some of the nerds in Twitch chat as a memer. I would say that I'll try to be on my best behavior, but I can't promise. But I believe that is somewhat encouraged over at All Things Protoss, right? It's full of
Gemini
memes.
and I, yeah, we try to make sure people rein it in, but there's definitely some healthy memeing there for sure. Especially Karathos, our resident highlight and video editor. He likes to put together some great meme and highlight recaps every single week of the regular season. So definitely that's part of the experience.
Awesome, mate. Well, I had a great time. I'll let you go. Any other bully streams tonight planned? Anything else? Does the Popo let you? Are you still allowed to warp in DTs? What's the play?
Listen, I don't want to speak too strongly here, but I've never been one to let the man keep me down. So they can keep on knocking, but I'm gonna keep on hoping and coping with those DTs. Make some Phoenix, the usual bull antics, business as usual on my side.
Awesome. All right. I wish you a great time, mate. Good luck with the streams, and thanks for hanging out.
Hey, thank you so much. We'll see you next time.
Bye-bye. All right, guys. That was the BASILISK Big Brain Bouts number 91. That was everything about all things Protoss. Obviously, you guys can always stop by Bully's stream or Gemini stream whenever he's live. And have any other questions, if you guys don't want to use Discord, that is fine. And then just stop by one of the Twitch channels of the guys that were on call tonight, and they are very excited about the All Things Protoss. I'll link Bully's Twitch channel in the chat. You guys can always ask Bully, and if you guys can't find Bully, then Gemini SC2, I believe it is. Yep. Then you guys can always give Gemini a little
what do I want?
as well.
What do I want?
Fjant icon, there is one. Roddy. There you go. Swedish Phoenix for Fjant, mate. I support all the kids. All right, I think that's it for me. How long have we been live? 5 hours and 24 minutes. I think it's been another solid effort on the Friday night. I see that my boy Goblin is live. What is he doing? He's analyzing some things. Playing Terran or Protoss. I don't know what he's doing. Yeah, obviously hope you guys enjoyed it. Outside of all the love for all things Protoss, the points. Oh my. How dare I forget. Guys, outside of all the regular love for all things Protoss, obviously make sure to give some love to the Basilisk Discord as well. If you guys don't use Twitter or Blue Sky or any of that other nonsense, then please join the Basilisk Discord or give some thumbs up on YouTube, follow on Instagram. Anything along those lines does really help. Makes Basilisk happy, and if Basilisk is happy, I'm happy. Yeah, obviously, then we're all happy. So we'll try to continue to make each other happy. Yes, I know, your channel points. Sometimes I'm starting to feel that all I am to you guys is a source of channel points. Roddy, ooh, it was a big bet, by the way. 1.4 million against 5. Okay, I get it. So a misclick would be very unfortunate, right? Would you guys be upset at me? If I now let go of my finger, a lot of people get very angry. Alright, we'll settle it correctly. Fjant with the reverse sweep. Okay, I'll wrap it up. I had a great time. I think you guys had a great time. I just saw Bully go live as well. So if Bully goes live, then I think I'll send you guys over to Bully. Because Bully was obviously the man of the hour today. I want to host Goblin, but we've hosted Goblin a lot. To be fair, we hosted Bully a decent amount as well. But now you guys can put a beautiful face to the lovely voice that we had. And as long as the Popo, not the Coco. Nobody wants that Coco leaves you alone. As long as the Popo leaves you alone, we should be good. I'll send you guys over to Bully. Thank you guys for hanging out. Have a great weekend, everyone. I don't know how my streaming weekend will look like. I have a family dinner tomorrow night. Mom, Dad, Grandma, my brother, his wife, my nephew, Vicky, and I. We're going to eat some steak somewhere in RotterdaM. And I definitely have some other things to do during the day. So I can't really say if I'll be streaming a lot on Saturday or Sunday. But once I find the time, once I find the joy, the motivation, we'll definitely stream. Take care. Much love. Enjoy Bully. Have a great weekend.